How's this? Oh, I'm far away. Oh boy. I need to take a couple minutes to just kind of explain my brain a little bit. I think I've just been way too in my head recently because there's a lot of things going on that I'm slowly gonna start announcing to you guys over the next couple weeks because I have finals this week and then it's winter break. And as I mentioned in the last video, I'm not doing Vlogmas, so I'm still gonna be making content every day. I'm just not gonna be daily uploading because I need to spend more time working on the things happening in the garage. So about a year and a half ago, I bought my first ever Porsche. It's kind of funny that I could even call it that, but it's a 1986 Porsche 944. Jason found it on Facebook Marketplace one day, and it was $1,000 for a totally pulled apart 944, and I was just all about it. Like, I was looking for another project car to add to the channel because I was trying to expand my reach. And the 944 just so happened to be a car that I looked at when I was like 16 years old, but I couldn't really afford to build one or buy one because while they were cheap at the time, I just knew that it wasn't smart to jump into a 944 because parts are not the most cheap thing, and old Porsches have their quirks, and I just wasn't prepared at the time. I wasn't really prepared the second time around, but I bought one anyway. So the original goal with that car was to turn it into just like a fully restoration type build. I just wanted a super clean stock 944 that I could take to car meets and Porsche events and things like that. That being said, I had no idea what the interest on those videos would be like, and while it has gained some subscribers, I know that it's not my most popular series, and I mean, I can't really blame you because not much really happened with the car. I learned going into that a lot of times jumping into an old project car means like extended wait times for parts to arrive. That topped with the fact that during the pandemic, everything just took forever to ship. I would literally buy something and then wait like 2 months for it to show up. Sometimes I'd pay for something and then 3 months later I'd get an email saying like, oh, sorry, we didn't have it. The night before we went and picked up the 944, I came across a YouTube channel called Boost Brothers Garage. So Boost Brothers Garage is a small company based out of Ohio that's developing an engine swap kit for the 944 and 951 platform. And upon discovering their YouTube channel, I knew that it was something that I wanted to strive for in the future. I didn't know when I was going to be able to make it happen, but I knew that I wanted to engine swap the car. On top of that, 07K engines are super cheap. I think I bought one for like, the engine itself was like $350 at a junkyard, and then I paid a little bit extra just to get all the accessories and components with it that I may or may not need. And I don't think I ever said directly on the channel what happened with that engine, but I've had it sitting for a while. Like, I bought the 944, and then I think within a month, I went and bought an 07K. And I've just had it sitting in the garage this whole time. I'm sure you guys have seen it in the background of videos, and I think I even mentioned a few months ago that we were going to talk about that engine, which is now this video. So I'm trying to get everything up to date because I've just done so many things behind the scenes, and I decided that now that I have some more straight up times as to when things will happen, I can finally start to unveil things. So I guess the time is now. Let it be known, I am engine swapping my Porsche 944. So this is a 2.5 liter 07K engine out of a 2013 Volkswagen Jetta. Now if we take a look up here, you can see that this engine is a 5-cylinder engine, which is one of the most unique things about this engine in my opinion. It's gonna have a really awesome sound once it's running in the car. If you're familiar with any old like Audi rally cars, you'll be familiar with that kind of 5-cylinder sound. I just think it's a really underrated platform, and I'm really excited that there's a company developing a swap for this because having that sound coming out of a 944, I mean, how much more unique can you really get? Unfortunately for me though, I don't know the mileage of this engine. The car that it came out of had the cluster removed and they didn't know the mileage on the car. So I guess we're just gonna have to do some trial by fire. I'm sure I'll probably put it in the car, start it up, and if it's rattling or something is obviously wrong with it, then we'll rebuild it. But if not, then I might just send it for a little bit because, well, I'm broke. So as far as the timeline for this project goes, I've ordered the swap kit. It's not here yet, but that's okay because in the meantime, we have to pull almost everything off of this engine, and I also need to send the upper oil pan back to Boost Brothers Garage. So there's a bit of an exchange that needs to happen before I can really get this in the car and get rolling with it. but hopefully I'll be able to make some content about this during winter break. If I don't have the swap kit by the end of winter break, it's not the end of the world because I have so much to do on the Mustang. So this video is coming about both platforms, but I had to go ahead and say something about this because I finally reached the point where I was like getting the ball rolling. I worked all summer to save up enough cash to make this happen, and I'm glad I did. I mean, I'm definitely nervous. It was a lot of money to spend all at once, but it's just something that I'd be doing whether I was making YouTube videos or not. So fortunately, I have this YouTube channel and I have the support from you guys that kind of helps counteract that, but the swap kit's not cheap. So there's a lot of strings I have to pull to try to make things like this happen. And a lot of times my projects take longer than I would like, but once I get out of college, hopefully I can kind of flip that around and offset things. Now I know a lot of Porsche enthusiasts are very against engine swapping, and I think that I'm somewhere in the middle because when I see the LS swapped ones, I mean, it's really cool if you can cram an LS into a 944, but personally, I just don't really see the value in doing that. I think if you're cramming a nasty junkyard LS engine into a Porsche, like, it's cool when it's all together, but in my opinion, it kind of hurts the character of the car a little bit. Like, I think if you want LS, you should just get a muscle car. Like, it's just kind of my opinion. Obviously, some people are LS swapping the world, and I think that there are other better platforms for that, but the 944 isn't that for me. Like, I thought about doing an LS swap, and I know that there's kits for it, but it's been done a lot more, and this is something that I've only really seen the developers and like one or two other YouTubers do. I know that Mike the Day from ECS Tuning has like a rally car one with his, and obviously Boost Brother Garage has their development cars and stuff, but I haven't really seen any driving around on the street. It's not something I've seen on Instagram or anything like that, so I'm hoping that I can do something that's a little bit more unique with this car. It took me a while to decide that that's what I finally wanted to do, but I think going away from LS and venturing into a new platform is just what the car deserves. There's also some heritage reasons why I think that this swap is the way to go with the 944. If you cram a V8 into it, it's kind of taking away from the original idea with what the 944 was supposed to be. Back in the late 70s and early 80s, there was the 928, and the 928 was a Porsche similar to the 944, but it had a V8 in it. And then the 944 and the 924 were kind of like affordable Porsches that still gave you some performance, but they didn't have that V8 and they weren't the 928. However, the 4-cylinder engine that's in the 944, it's similar to the 928 V8 engine. So essentially, I mean, they didn't literally cut it in half, but it's kind of like one cylinder bank of a 928 engine, and then it has balance shafts to make sure it doesn't shake itself apart. It's a really unique engine and they sound awesome. So where I think the heritage kind of lines up with this platform is this 5-cylinder engine that you can find in a Jetta is sort of similar to like a TTRS 5-cylinder engine, and it was developed at the same time as the Lamborghini Gallardo V10. Now the reason why that's important is it has the same bore and stroke. You can even bolt Lamborghini exhaust to it, which I think is really cool. I mean, I can't afford Lamborghini headers, that'd be kind of sweet, but that's probably not on my radar. But the point is, I think that if Porsche were to do some sort of newer 944 or bring it back, I would hope that they would keep that sort of mentality of like having an engine that's sort of half of like the bigger type of engine that would fit into the smaller car. So that was kind of what sold me on this platform. It kind of follows the ideology of the 944 a little bit better. I think this will help kind of bring that ideology of like more performance oriented with similar design of a bigger engine into the 21st century. Alright guys, so that's pretty much going to do it for today's video. I wanted to go ahead and just keep this one a little bit short and sweet. Let me know what you guys think about this swap in the comments. Let me know what you guys want to see as far as like mods for the car in the future, considering we have this new swap. If you're familiar with this platform at all, definitely like leave some comments or links to parts that would maybe work on the swap, things of that nature, because I'm all ears at this point. The next video you guys see about the 944 will be pulling off all these accessories and getting everything ready to go. So if you aren't already, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for that. If you haven't already, leave a like on this video because it really helps out the channel when you guys do that, and I hope you guys are looking forward to seeing more content. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out and dream big.